Okay, so hello again my friends. I've been away for a while. I was back in the UK visiting my daughter for a few weeks in February, and now I'm back in Greece again, and at Lake Kerkini in the north of Greece, and I've been here for a couple of days. And yesterday I thought I'd try and go up the mountain as I said I would, to set the trail cam and the camera trap up high on the mountain to see what I might get up there. But because of the rains in the last few weeks, a lot of the track was washed out, so it was impossible to get up very high. Hopefully in the next few weeks, as things dry out up there, I might be able to get up there. But yeah, that being the case, I thought what I'd do is I'd come to the northern side of the lake, where there's a bit of a forest, lots of brush, undergrowth, and lots of trails coming down from the mountain that the jackals use. And a few weeks ago, a friend of mine had put a trail cam up there, and he recorded not only the Golden Jackals as they came through, but he also recorded a wolf. And there was a little bit of controversy on Facebook when he posted that, because a lot of people didn't believe it was a wolf. But you can clearly see the difference in size between that creature and the jackals that came past. And using points of reference, you can see just how much bigger it was. So I think there's no doubt that it was a wolf. So with that in mind, I'm going to go to the same area. I don't know the exact spot where he put it, although he did tell me roughly the area. So I'm hoping I'll find a trail down there and set the camera trap up there and the trail cams, and see what we might catch over the next few days. So yeah, I shall see you down there. Okay, so that led out onto this little opening behind me, and you can still see the track roughly just here where animals are crawling along, and it carries on into the bush here. So I'm just gonna go along more. Rather disconcertingly, that track became a buffalo track. So quite how they got here, I don't know, because the end of the track is out at this pond here. And I can't see a way that the buffalo came into this area, and the tracks are actually heading that way, unless they came through the reeds over here, possibly. But anyway, that precludes me from putting a trap here, or a trail cam, because if the buffalo are coming through here, I don't want them disturbing it, and if they have the herdsmen with them, I don't want them finding it either. Okay, so I shall backtrack and see if I can find somewhere else, so bear with me. Okay, so I backtracked through the undergrowth, where after this, following this track here, it went straight through the brush there and led to the lake. So I backtracked to the first choke point back here, and I called my friend up, and turns out this is the spot where he set up his cameras, his trail cam. So he was facing the other way though. I'm still really concerned that there's buffalo that might come through here, although I can't see buffalo tracks on this section. I might even go for a top-down light using the overhanging branch back there, which might make for a nice shot. Right, so let me get to that and then I'll show you my setup. That took me a fair bit of time to set up, but I've got it all set, I think, and fingers crossed we'll get a good result. So I'll just talk you through it. So this is the trail here. Let me just open this up a bit so you can see. So this is the trail here. Hopefully they'll come through. And down at my feet here on the side I have one trail cam pointing in this direction, looking at the camera, and then the camera is facing the path just there. So hopefully the jackals, and with any luck wolf, will come over this log. It'll trigger from here, from the contraption sensor. I have a flash up at the top there. Okay, so in typical style, my vlogging camera ran out of battery and I've left my spare battery because I didn't think I would be recording that much. I left the spare in the car. So I shall finish up on the phone here. So as I was saying, there is the one camera, the flash is up there, pointing downwards, and the other one is, how do I turn this around? Well, I'll do it this way, is on the camera tripod just there, facing up the path, so it's a full-on, head-on flash for the animal. Hopefully they're going to walk in this direction, and hopefully we'll record them. On the video that my friend took, they were coming from the other direction, which is why I've pointed the camera up towards the mountain. So I'm assuming they're coming down from the mountain down to the lake, to the river, to feed and drink. So with any luck, oh, and the other trail cam is over here on this tree, pointing down the path there, looking at the back of the camera behind me, which is pointing down the path. And I've set it up to trigger just over the log, which is on here, so when they come across the log here, hopefully the camera will trigger. Okay, so good morning. It's 3 days now since I put the camera out for the jackals and maybe wolf at that location. I'm just on my way in to collect it and see if there's anything on the cards. And as I was walking in, I noticed this trail which comes through this avenue of trees here. So I followed it along, and it comes out onto a bit of a bog behind me there. And within the bog there are some absolutely monster footprints, which are without question wolf. I have a measure on my walking pole here, and I put it down, and it's about 12 centimeters print, which is just beyond question that it's a wolf, a print of that size. So I wasn't happy with the location anyway over there. I don't know if there's anything on the cards, we'll see in a second. But having found this trail and having found that print, I'm definitely going to change location. So I'm glad I brought all the extra batteries and things to be able to do that and set it up fresh. So I'm just going to walk back through this down this trail and back around the pond. My camera is actually on the other side of this pond here, so I'm going to go check that out and come back and reset it here somewhere. See if I can find a decent enough location. There's a fallen log just there which might make a good point. The thing is, there's two tracks, so if you can see behind me, there's one track that goes through the trees, and there's another track down here which runs alongside the pond. So I don't know which of the two to set it up on. Let me go take the camera down, see if there's anything on the cards, and then relocate here. So I shall catch up with you in a second. So I'm at the location of my camera, and thankfully everything looks to still be intact. So I'll go in, check the trail cam first, and see if there's anything on it. Okay, so there was nothing on the other trail cam either. So I'll just check. I did see on the first trail camera the flash did fire once. And we have what looks like to be the tail end of a jackal in the distance on one, and that's me arriving to pick it up. Okay, so pretty much nothing on here, and there seems to be quite a bit of a delay between triggering and the camera and flashes waking up, so I shall have to try and find some way to overcome that. So I'll break all this down, switch out all the batteries, and head over to the other location where I've spotted the wolf track. So I'm at the track, the trail where I found the wolf print, and I've been trying to assess where I might set it up. There's various branches into different trails, so I think it's going to be a gamble whichever one I choose. And I think I finally decided I'm going to choose this one here behind me. It's a trail which basically leads off from the bog where I found the print, and it goes up over the embankment here and runs along the trail which is right next to the pond there. So anyway, I will set all that up. I will save you the boredom of watching me do all that through B-roll, and I'll come back to you in a second when I've set it up and talk you through my setup. Okay, let's talk you through this. I've got one trail cam on this fallen tree overlooking the bog behind me there where the paw print is, and the paw print is coming in this direction. So hopefully their nest is further up the mountain here in the brush, and at night they come through this way down to the river and to the lake. And I've chosen this path over here. Let me get a little bit of distance to show you. So I've chosen this path here, coming down to the embankment right next to the water here, to the pond. My feeling is that is the most likely route, but time will tell, and the photos, if any, should be the evidence for that. And what I've done is I've set the camera up here looking at this choke point here in this gap where I believe they will come through, which hopefully should frame it nicely. And above it I've got a flash looking down. I've also put the trigger up there so that as the animal passes underneath it, it'll set it off at the right moment. And I've got the other trail cam just on the tree over here, looking in the same direction as the camera. I'll camouflage the camera a little bit to make sure it's as inconspicuous as possible. I'm sure that their sense of smell though is pretty phenomenal, and they will realize that somebody has been here. So whether that'll put them off coming through, I don't know. Yeah, so I shall leave it a couple of nights and come back, and hopefully we might have a result. I'll also set another trail cam further down this way on the other trail to see if maybe that's the one they're preferring, in which case I'll have to reset the camera trap again. Anyway, I shall catch up with you again in a couple of days' time, and hopefully we'll have some decent results. Okay, so I'm back at the camera trap for an update, and where to start? There's so much has been on my mind with this setup here. Okay, so it's about just over a week since I set it up at this location for the jackals and potentially the wolf, and I came back after a couple of days just to switch out batteries and what have you and make sure everything was running okay. And also I recovered the cards from the trail cams to have a look and see what action, if any, there was in the area, because the only picture I got on the DSLR was this picture now that I'll show you of this lovely badger. It's a nice image, nothing spectacular, but it is a nice image, and that's the only thing that triggered the DSLR. So I recovered the cards from the trail cams, and the first thing I noticed was that the canine species that came through, the jackal and what I believe was in fact a wolf as well, they seem to be really wary of the trail cams, and I think it's the little light, red light beam that it emits that they are sensitive to, whereas the other animals that came through, the stone marten, the badger, didn't seem to be at all aware or disturbed by it. But the jackals definitely seem to have second thoughts about coming through, although one did take a curious interest in the camera that was fairly low down and actually had a bit of a sniff and a look into the lens. So I'm not sure if that's been putting them off. Basically, so that being the case, I did take them down, except for one which I put higher up in the tree, looking down, in the hope that they wouldn't see the light as they're coming down the trails, up and down the trails here, and put them off. But yeah, that proved to have no result in terms of the images. I had another look now at the camera, and there's nothing on it at all, so it hasn't been triggering. Again, that may be due to the fact that there are so many trails crisscrossing here that they might just not have come through that particular choke point that I've chosen. So that being the case, I guess I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to try on a single trail rather than an intersection, in the hope that I might have better luck. In terms of the technical side, the thing that I've been noticing as well, mostly from the other setup, is the delay from the time that the sensor is triggered to when the flashes wake up, and it is quite long when they're in standby mode at the moment. And I'm not sure if that's down to the batteries that I'm using, because it is the third year I'm using these rechargeable batteries, AA's. So it might be that they're coming to the end of their useful life, and I'll need to switch those out for new ones. And maybe that'll cure the problem, I'm not sure. But there is a bit of a delay, which means, at least for the moment, what I'm going to try and do is set the trigger further down the track, to give it a chance that as the animal trots through, that the flashes have enough time to wake up and trigger the camera at the right moment, rather than the animal comes through, triggers it, and it's gone by the time they fire. So I shall try that and get back to you in the next video, both with the new setup and hopefully some results. So I'm quite conscious of the fact that this one is a long one, so thank you so much if you've made it this far into the video. I really do appreciate it, and I shall set it all up again and come back to you in a new video in a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, hopefully with some better results. So I shall catch up with you then. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.